So it has been 2 months with the new iPad Pro and I'm obsessed with this thing. It has been part of my EDC since I got it, so I've ended up using it way more frequently than my MacBook Pro. And it's crazy to me that originally I thought that it was going to be just a media consumption device for watching YouTube, gaming, note-taking, and sketching, but it has been so much more. I love how the iPad has changed the way that I work and support all the pro creative work I do for my channel. The question always goes back to the same place. What makes the iPad so special? And why many people say that it's a perfect MacBook replacement? Well, to be honest, I don't think the iPad is truly a MacBook replacement, but it's surely a tool that quickly access ideas and start brainstorming. And in reality, to me, it's more like a bridge in between the iPhone and the MacBook. It's a perfect middleman to start the work on a project or an idea and start sketching the first steps of that project that you have in mind and then elaborate later into the MacBook, or at least that's how I use it. Although we cannot forget about the power that the iPad has, especially the M4 iPad Pro. This device here can be used for many pro creative, such as photographers, artists, and videographers, especially those that rather have a versatile device instead of the most powerful one like the MacBook. Sure, some professional apps may not run exactly the same in the iPad as they do on the MacBook because they're not optimized for iPad use. Some of them are missing some key features that maybe are important for you in your workflow. So for those cases, the MacBook makes more sense, but it is possible to use the iPad as your dedicated computer if you are willing to compromise in those areas, and through those workarounds you can definitely make it work. And of course, all that is thanks to the new M4 chip, which is a powerhouse. I haven't used an iPad since the iPad mini, as I mentioned on the other video, so this is my first iPad Pro and it has been a completely new experience and very enjoyable to say the least. I've been using this thing every single day as my EDC, way more than my MacBook, which is something that I never thought I would say. The tasks that I've been covering with this thing on my daily routine when I do use it on the go is for scripting mostly, photo editing, and working on thumbnails and developing the first steps of an idea, which has been great for that. Obviously, those tasks are very light and they don't necessarily require you to have an iPad. The iPad in this case sometimes tends to be a luxury device for these cases because I feel like not many people need an iPad versus how many people need a MacBook. The iPad is an intermediate device that can be used to facilitate work and facilitate the process of creating ideas, but it's not a device that I would say that many people need. There's definitely some value in having a hybrid device where you can turn into a laptop sort of with the keyboard, which works great, and use it as a tablet mode, which is super handy for those times that you want to just go anywhere that you don't have a table and you just want to get the pen and start writing or sketching whatever you want. It's definitely a very versatile device that if you're looking for that versatility and that's important for you, I understand why you will consider this instead of a MacBook. You know, when they announced the M4 iPad Pro, I had really high hopes for iPadOS 18, and I thought that it was purposely introduced with the new M4 chip, skipping the M3 because of the huge plans they had with the iPad. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I was a little bit disappointed on the results that we got in that event. I was hoping for a lot more things for iPadOS that we really didn't get. I've grown accustomed to how it works and how I can incorporate it to my lifestyle, but even though I don't really want macOS on this tablet right here, I would like it to be a little bit different. Not necessarily how it looks, but more into how it functions. For example, the Fast Manager to me is still a little bit of a mess, and one other thing that I would love this thing to do is to have a little bit more optimization with pro apps to be able to work on heavy tasks without having to do so many workarounds. Besides that, you know, the power that this thing has a lot of potential, so it's definitely a device that will future-proof you for many years to come. As for pro apps, I don't really think they're gonna change anytime soon. I mean, the time for it to change was now, and you know, I didn't see any effort put onto that, so it's probably not their intention, at least not for the near future. If you haven't done photo editing on an iPad, you're really missing out on potentially the best Lightroom experience. It's relaxing to find a comfortable spot to use an iPad with the Pencil Pro, listen to some music and edit photos for a few hours. The only challenge that I'm pretty sure is mostly the challenge that many people are seeing, especially if you use your iPad as your dedicated computer, is the lack of ports, which makes this task a little bit more tedious than it needs to be. This is one of the times that I generally prefer my MacBook, especially when working on thumbnails, since most of the photos are taken with a dedicated camera and AirDrop isn't an option. For those scenarios, I recommend using a hub with enough ports to keep your work going without limitation, especially when your iPad is your only computer. The SD card port is an absolute necessity for me, so as long as I have that and an additional USB-C port, I can pretty much work on anything without worrying when traveling. Secondly, in my list, and one of the things that I've been using a lot that have changed the way that I work on my iPad is the use of good notes Notes 5. I'm an engineer in my day job and my weeks are filled with planning, drawings, calculations, and I used to burn through notebooks like crazy. And the new calculator app comes in clutch for everything design-wise. I love it so much, and it's one of the features that make me lean towards the iPad the most. Honestly, it's kind of crazy that we're so excited for a calculator app. It's just excellent. For drawing, for making graphics, it's almost like a better, improved Excel document. It's not as elaborated as Excel, but you can do so much with the calculator app that facilitates all those tasks for me. Also, another app that has been a complete game changer is the Freeform. It's crazy because I feel like I had it for a long time and I never looked into it that much until I had the iPad, and it's so cool that you can just draw and elaborate on an idea or a concept or whatever you want. To me, it's my first step on creating my scripts. I typically like to write the title of the video or maybe a couple of titles, and from there I start building up the subtitles, the topics that I want to cover. Sometimes I drop thumbnails there and kind of like have my A, B, and C and look into my project as a bigger picture, and then from there I elaborate on the topics, I write my script with a little bit more depth, and it helps me make the videos as you see them right now. Another thing is that the Magic Keyboard, I know that it's expensive, but it truly changed the iPad and how it works for me significantly. At times I forget it's a tablet and I use it with keyboard only, which is crazy. The only thing again that is lacking is the ports. Adding the ports to the iPad, it probably doesn't make much sense, but maybe to the keyboard, that would be a pretty awesome idea. Having used the iPad extensively, I've come to appreciate its purpose, how well it integrates within the Apple ecosystem. If budget isn't a constraint for you, owning an iPhone, a MacBook, and an iPad is the optimal way to enhance your productivity. Each device complement each other, creating a synergistic effect which works like no other. And when you start with your iPhone, goes to your iPad, and from the iPad goes to the MacBook, and just like that, you can build an amazing cycle of creativity. For most people, you can skip the iPad, and having the iPhone and the MacBook, it'll be perfectly fine. But that's my opinion, and I would love to know what you guys think. Do you agree with my point or not? I would like to see your take on this. So let me know in the comments what is your opinion, and if you have the three of them, how do you use them? I'm interested to knowing more. And one thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that I'm very happy with how everything is going here in the channel. You guys are awesome, and I've seen an incredible growth this month, and by the look of it, I think we could reach 1,000 subscribers by July, but only time will tell. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the video, and I hope the channel keeps growing in the same rate that it's going right now. It's a very exciting point in this. I only remember when I started working on the idea of having a YouTube channel, and seeing how everything is coming up together is being an awesome experience. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Tonight I'm gonna take you out and live the dream that we've been